Welcome to the Living Ageless and Bold podcast. Each episode, I bring you amazing women who inspire, educate, and share their experiences and journeys along the way. So grab a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's relax and have some fun hearing what can be accomplished after 55. Okay, we are going to have some fun today. For all of our listeners and viewers who are about my age, we all grew up with daytime television. Back when we had 4 channels, that's what we did. It's what our mothers did. And super excited to have someone who has graced those screens for over 30 years. You might recognize her as Sheila Carter of Young and the Restless and Bold and Beautiful. But she is actually Kimberlin Brown, a very talented actress who is with us today. So welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is, you know what? I'm just like you. I grew up watching soaps with my mom as well.
Right? That
Yes.
was our generation. And that was part of it. So I know that everybody listening can totally relate to you and who you are. How do you get into that life? I saw you started out as a model, but I put it on Instagram. I said, what should I ask her? That's what people wanted to know. Like, how do you start?
Well, I did start in modeling. I was modeling in Los Angeles with Nina Blanchard and New York with Eileen Ford. And that's kind of where it all started. I started doing commercials, getting hired from my agent to do, an Oreo commercial where you said a few lines or another commercial where you said a few lines. And then one year when I came home from Europe after doing a collection back there for petites, they wanted an actress that wasn't too tall, a girl that wasn't too tall that could say a few lines because the leading actor in that scene was not terribly tall. So I started going out on auditions for things like that. And the January I came home from Italy, I got every single thing Nina Blanchard sent me out on. So I thought, maybe I'll give this acting thing a try. And it was a disaster, an absolute disaster.
Oh, really?
It was. Here I got a wonderful agent right away. I was with Vicky Light, a girlfriend of mine, Claudia Christensen, who is an actress. If you Googled her, you'll recognize her from many things. But she got me in with her agent, and everyone was, it's so hard to get an agent, so hard to get an agent. Everything was just happening for me. When right after the next, it was perfect. And she started sending me out on these things. I think I went out for a reading for Charles in Charge back in the day.
Yeah.
And I literally had them rolling. I'm going, oh my gosh, this is great. I got the part. They're laughing so hard. This is wonderful. My agent calls me and she goes, honey, they weren't laughing at your performance. They were laughing at you. I thought, oh my gosh. Well, I'm a smart enough business person that I know that if you burn bridges, you can't go back over them. So I called my agent and said, don't send me out on another thing until I get into some acting classes. And, everybody thinks that it's something that you can just walk into and, I'm a natural and I don't need acting classes and I don't need training. And that's a myth. You definitely need all of that.
Well, and I've heard so much about, soap operas, you're every single day. People don't realize that. How does that work? You're memorizing scripts and you've got I read something, you've got, and I don't know what it's called, like where you've got to stand in the exact right place and say this line and then stand here. And
right.
How does that work on a weekly basis?
Well, that's called blocking. And what'll happen is we'll go in and we'll memorize our scenes. We go in the morning for hair and makeup, and we'll run lines, hopefully, if we have time, with the person that we're acting with that day. And then we go into what's called block and tape. And you go through and they tell you where you have to stand on this specific line, where you have to turn on this specific line. If you have to cross the room, it's on this specific line. So you're writing down your blocking in addition to everything that you memorized that week or the night before. And we actually tape in one day what a primetime show tapes in 10 days, 7 to 10 days. We have to flip an entire show every single day. And on Bold the Beautiful, because we're a 30-minute show, we will shoot oftentimes 3 to 4 shows in 2 days. On Young and the Restless, we would a lot of times do 2 shows in one day. And what that does is, because soap operas are year round, as you know, we don't you have a season like other shows do. By filming or taping that many shows in advance, it gives us time to have, a break during Christmas, a break during July to be with our kids, and that sort
And
of thing.
is that when you get the hospital scene where you're in a coma for a week, or you're in jail for a while?
No, we really, I wish it were that easy. No, it's all storyline dictated. Obviously, I'm in jail right now, so I have a little bit of a break, and that gives me the time to be with you here today. I'm so happy you had me on. But our days don't end with taping. I mean, we memorize that whole script. We go to work that day, and then we're memorizing lines that night to go to work again the following morning at 6 o'clock.
And you're one of very few crossover actresses. So you're actually working on 2 shows currently. Is that like double time? I mean, how much are you memorizing?
Well, it really bounces. I haven't been back to Y&R in a while. Young and the Restless is actually where Sheila began. And I was only brought on for 3 months, and 3 months has turned into over 33 years now. So it's, there was a time when I was going back and forth. Sean Kanan goes back and forth. Tracy Bregman from Young and the Restless will come back and forth. And the way that they really tied those 2 shows together was when Bill came up with the idea to take Sheila to another city, because he didn't want to lose my character. So I was very, very fortunate. My character turned out to be very popular, and he gave me really free reign to create her with him, alongside with him. He told me there was no wrong. You can do no wrong. There are no boundaries that Sheila can't test. So please do. And to be given that as an actress is phenomenal.
Wow. Okay, I have to ask you. So it sounds so luxurious. You have hair and makeup in the morning. Your character, and I watched some clip on your Instagram. You're making out with Don Diamante, then you're making out with Sean Kanan, and then you go home to your beautiful husband of 30 plus years. You've got the life. How does that work?
Well, I if it were only that easy at home all the time, right? I'll tell you what. I've known my husband since I was 13 and started dating him when I was 18. So, yes, we'll be married 32 years. And we're married 32 years on the 11th of May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I've been with him for 42. So,
but that has to take a special man and a strong relationship to have a wife, literally, especially your character, who is, has some very handsome men she's involved with.
Well, I've got to be honest, that's all very, very recent. Sheila was never one of the people on the show that was with men the way Brooke and Taylor and all the other women were. I think when you think of an evil character, you don't think of the girl that's lucky and gets all the guys. And it's only recently that I kind of reevaluated myself, took a hard look at myself, and realized that I could be anything that I wanted to be. And I made some serious life changes for the better. And the show started looking at me differently. And then all of a sudden, I've got love interest after love interest and wearing a lot of lingerie lately.
Well, and I have to say, when I met you, I met Kimberlin at an event. I was working the red carpet and was able to interview her. And you looked spectacular. She had this cutout dress, gorgeous. And then I looked a little deeper on your Instagram. You went through a big health transformation that a lot of us at the same are doing. So I'd love for you to share, because like I said, that you were smoking that night. That dress was spectacular.
Thank you. And I'll tell you what, that's the kind of dress I would never have worn. And my girlfriends, actually, they came over. I had a handful of gowns to try on. I said, well, what ones do you think? And They went, that one. And I went, oh my gosh, this is something my daughter would wear. And they said, nope, that's something that you should be wearing right now. And I went, okay. So I gave it a shot. Don't know if I'm 100% still comfortable my own skin that way, but it's definitely coming that way. I went through a horrible accident just over 3 years ago now, where I fell off a ladder and shattered my heel. I was on a job site. I also have a design company, and the young man holding my ladder let go. Texting is a big thing these days, and heaven forbid they should miss anything, right? Well, it was life altering for me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was literally bedridden for 6 months. And being bedridden and not being active, I gained a ton of weight. I hadn't been that heavy since I was pregnant with my kids. And everybody said, "Oh no, you still look great." And, a lot of women can hold the weight, can carry it differently and disguise it.
Right.
I was really good at disguising what had happened. I wasn't in a position to work out even when I could get out of bed. But, I did the best I could. And my husband actually really provoked me. He kind of pissed me off. I was looking at some other actresses that were very close to my age. I didn't know they were close to my age. Oh my gosh, look at this picture. This is smoking hot. I said, wow, to be 10 years younger again. And he goes, well, she's actually 3 years younger than you. And I went,
Oh,
whoa. It's
thanks,
like,
honey.
yeah, that was a slap in the face. And I couldn't sleep one night, and I came out to the couch, and I turned on the TV and I saw this advertisement. And it wasn't about dieting. It was about rehydrating your cells to make your organs react the way that they did when they were younger. When we age, we don't just age on the outside, we age on the inside. And I'd never really thought about that. And it I was looking at the testimonials and watching people talk about their journey. And the majority of people that started this lifestyle change, is what I call it, it was for health reasons. And I have thyroid issues, breast cancer runs in my family. Women out there know that, we are like a triangle. It goes across your thyroid, your breast cancer, yeah, all the way down to our lady parts. And I thought, well, I'm already on thyroid medication, and I don't want to be that woman in my 70s that's taking 20 meds to stay healthy. And I found out, that by doing research and, girlfriends who are older than myself, and they put you on one thing and then they say that they can't take you off of it. And then they put you on something else to regulate what they just put you on. And there are so many healthy alternatives that our doctors don't tell us about. And I don't know if it's because they don't know it or because of pharmaceuticals, and then how big that industry is. But I wanted something better for myself. And this is what I found. It's called Energized Health. And it's an 88-day program to rehydrate your cells so that your body behaves the way it used to when it was younger. And then I found out while on the program, oh, you're going to look 10 years younger. And it's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I believe that when I hear it. But it turns out your skin is the largest organ on your body.
Yep.
So if you rehydrate that, I really could see the clock turning backwards. And if people are, oh my gosh, your skin. And my makeup artist on the show saying, Kimberlin, the other actresses are asking what you're doing.
What are you using?
Yeah, what are you using? What can I say? Well, here are my products, and they're from Trader Joe's. So it's nothing, nothing outlandish or expensive. But I think it's the fact that I started rehydrating my body and my cells. And then
We've had a lot of guests on, experts in health and fitness, and I can't tell you every single one of them. It's just sip water all day long.
yeah,
And I'm really curious what this is. I'm definitely going to check it out, just having heard from these, and if there's something you can add
right.
to it or what that program is.
Well,
Because, yeah, you
yeah.
look spectacular. You
Well,
really do.
thank you. I actually, there's a med spa that I go to for my facials and for skincare, and the doctor there had seen my transformation, and he did full dive research on it, and he wanted to partner with them to refer clients to.
Well,
He couldn't find anything medically unsound with the program. But, a lot of people you see walking around with those big gallon jugs of water and they're chugging them, and that's all
right,
great. But, you're also flushing out good minerals that you need in your body. So on this program, I actually add Himalayan salt to my water to keep the nutrients in. And my husband, I talked him into going on the program with me. He was 258 when he started the program, down to 186 after he finished the
wow.
program, which is like the way he looked in college. He looks absolutely amazing. But
Did you
neither,
tell him he still looks like he's 50 something?
yeah, exactly. No, I dig him every chance I can. Believe me. I said, like, you got a body like that, and you don't get a haircut. What the heck? But But regardless of the amount of weight that we both lost, which is a byproduct of the program, we gained
Yeah.
water weight. And most people, when they go on these fad diets, they lose a ton of water weight, and then they wonder why the weight comes back. We gained water weight during this program, which was the whole
Huh.
idea, rehydrating your cells and getting things working
Love
again.
it.
They've taken him off his cholesterol medicine. They've taken him off his blood pressure medicine. It's the doctors are like, wow. And I have girlfriends that have done it, and their doctors are like, wow, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. So check it out, energizedhealth.com. Tell them Kimberlin Brown sent you if you're
Matter
interested. Yeah, it's not a
and
cheap
you'll see the
program.
difference on your Instagram. You can see the older
Yeah,
pictures, and you talk about your journey on there.
right.
So no, I'm definitely gonna check that
You
out.
don't have to join a gym. Everything that they give
Yeah.
you to do is something that you can do in your house, in your kitchen. I mean, everybody's
And
all, I've got to join this gym and I've got to do this. It's like,
right.
no, you really don't.
And it's fascinating to hear how it impacted your career. Like all
Oh,
of a sudden this evil character who doesn't get the guys and do whatever now, and you're how old
yep.
are you? 61.
I am going to be 62 this month, June. Yeah.
And
So
and it's
I,
so the thing I'm loving about this podcast is talking to women. I'm 56, and
right.
all these doors are opening for us at this point in our lives. It's just getting
Yeah.
started. Like you have a
It,
whole new career as this new soap opera star, the whole new role, the same character,
yeah.
but you get to become a whole different person.
When your executive producer comes to you, Brad Bell, and he's, I want to say, probably 3 to 5 years younger than I am. And he goes, I don't know what the heck you're doing. He goes, but you were like one of the new sex symbols on the show. He goes, keep it up. He goes, you just look amazing. I was like, thank you. Thank you.
They feel
I
so
have a
good.
new video I'm working on editing right now with some new photos to show people the befores and the afters. My daughter found a picture of me Christmas time. I shattered my heel that July, and by that Christmas, I mean, I didn't know I looked like that. I really didn't know I looked like that, but I sure love the way that I'm looking now. I gave myself permission to be happy, and I think that that's something that women at our age really definitely need to do.
Absolutely. I went through a similar I had some health issues, and they put me on medication, not
Right,
telling me the weight that I would gain, and then you gain 30 pounds, and then you get depressed, and next thing you know, it's 50 pounds, and I had a similar transformation. I found a different kind of program, but it
right.
worked for me, and my son said, he's like, "Mom, I didn't realize." He goes, "I looked at older pictures of you," and he's like, "Wow, you look really good."
Yeah.
Because you don't realize it. It just kind of happens, and then you wake up and you're like, "Oh, I'm not
Like,
happy. What
yeah, look at yourself in the mirror one day and go, what happened? What did I do?
what happened?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And a lot of a lot of it is women our age as well. Our hormones are not behaving the way that they did when we were
No.
younger ladies. I mean, when I hit 50, my whole life kind of, wow, it's like I looked great. I worked out really hard, and it didn't matter if I worked out hard or harder. things weren't changing. Things weren't doing what I was used to them doing. And on this program, it's amazing what my lifestyle change has done. And it's definitely a lifestyle change. I don't call it a diet because, like I said, the majority of people that have gone on it are for health reasons, not for weight reasons, although losing weight is a huge byproduct of it.
Right.
So it's not just the fact that gosh, I'm still working out the same. I haven't changed my diet. I haven't done any of that. Ladies, you've got to realize that our hormone levels change as we get older, and there's nothing that you can do
Right, and it
about
sounds like
that.
you're like me. I don't wanna take a bunch of pills. I don't want a
No,
whole I'd
no.
much rather do things naturally.
Yeah, and I like I said, the doctor that investigated the program that I'm on, he said it's all such sound science and it makes such perfect sense. Now, is it going to maybe get rid of 100% of whatever you're taking in your medicine cabinet? I can't say that because I don't know, but I can tell you what it's done for myself and what it's done for my husband, and that's a definite.
Oh, that's awesome. Definitely
Yeah,
gonna check it out. You
thanks.
mentioned your daughter.
Yes.
Super cool that she is now following in mom's footsteps and on the show. She's on the show with you, right?
She shows up from time to time. She's not a regular on the show, but they have her come in to work at Forrester Creations, bring in the folders and say a line here and there. She's mostly into handling social media accounts. So she
Okay.
handles mine. She's handled somebody else's on the show, and she handles several businesses. That's her true love. Acting is not her passion, but it sure was fun to have her on the show with me. And you saw her with me on the red carpet that night.
I did. It's so
Yes,
fun. I just took my daughter's 23 and
right,
we went to it's called News Bash. It's all the local news journalists and
right.
it's a big breast cancer event. And she finally wanted to come. So we dressed in pink last night and went. It was just really
Fabulous.
fun to share with my daughter what I do.
And such a great cause. My mother's a survivor, so it's always one near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, my aunt and my grandmother. And my mother
Yeah,
actually.
right.
So it is near and dear,
Yeah.
a very important cause, especially for women our age.
Exactly. And you know what? It's even women younger now. It used to be that they didn't even give you a mammogram until you were so much, what, in your 40s or early 50s. And now I think it's so important, especially if it runs in your family, that gals get out there and start doing it in your 30s and just tell your
Right.
doctor about the family history. Otherwise, they're not gonna really flag that.
Right. Right. And you have to be your own advocate. I keep telling people that just because the doctor says, "Oh, you're fine," you have to do. When I went through my health journey, they wanted me to have this big surgery, and
Yep.
at the last minute, I chickened out, and I'm so glad I did because I took my health into my own hands and stopped all the medications and got healthy. My doctor said I'd
Right.
never be able to regulate my blood pressure again. Once it's high forever. Nope.
Yep.
I fixed
That's
all of that.
Yeah, that's what they told my husband, and he's off of all of his stuff now. It's great. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations for doing that, and I hope a lot of the other women out there that are listening to us now really take charge of yourself. That's why they
Yeah.
call it practicing medicine because it's still an uncertainty. It truly is. So if you have some healthy alternatives that will get you off of some of those meds, I say try it. What's the worst thing that could happen? You stay on them.
Right. And that's what I did. I said to them, I'm like, "Well, I can always go back, but I want
Yeah.
a couple months. Is it dangerous if I go off of it for a few months? Let me try my own thing." And, but it is so important for people listening to, because sometimes we just do that. We just listen to what anybody says and hearing it from you, somebody, who they might think is out of reach or out of touch. And you're just one of the girls, just like us,
Yep.
same kinds of issues, same health things, family things. So it's great for you to share that
Right.
with everybody.
Well, I love doctors, and I have many doctor friends, and I've been to a lot of them, with my injuries and what I was dealing with. But I can tell you that I always question authority, and I always get a second opinion, and sometimes a third. So I would highly recommend everybody get a second opinion, regardless of what they're going through.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah.
So what is the future of Sheila? Is she getting out of jail?
I sure hope so. I tell you what, there's going to be hell to pay to those people that put me there. I can give you that. But well, right now, they're doing a remote down in Italy. They're working on another storyline, and I'm locked up temporarily. I pray that. I wish I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. So that wouldn't work for any of your viewers, and that would mean a lot of travel for me. So, no, I just, I'm so enjoying my life. I really am, and like I said, allowing myself to be happy, giving myself that permission, because I think so many moms out there, we spend our lives taking care of everything and putting on that happy face and making everybody else happy. And there comes a time in your life, my kids are grown, and I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I said, you know what? I want to make that happy face real all the time. And it starts with you giving yourself that permission to be happy. And once I did that, it was amazing how things changed in my life. So
Isn't
ladies,
it?
give yourself that permission.
Yeah, I did. So I was doing the word of the year, and
Right?
post-COVID, my word was joy, and it's
Right.
been my word every year since then. I'm not doing anything that doesn't bring me joy. I don't want to be with people that aren't joyful. I'm not working
Right.
with clients who don't appreciate me, and it's
Right.
changed my life. I'm
Oh,
so, like you said, I'm so happy and
good.
really living my life to the fullest.
New playground
And it's
brings new playmates, that's for sure.
oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, new playground brings new playmates. Get rid of the negativity in your life. And my
Yeah.
gosh, there's so much of it out there today, and it feeds on itself. So just don't be a crumb adding to that appetite, or it'll drag you down.
Yeah. Find the people that make you happy and just hang out with them.
Exactly.
So at the end of every episode, we ask everyone the same two questions. So
Okay.
what is your greatest accomplishment since you've turned 50?
Since I turned 50, my greatest accomplishment was getting healthy and getting my body to a point that I can't remember since my 30s, since my early 30s.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself possibly having my own show, quite honestly.
What kind of show?
Well, I've been in development for the last 2 years on a comedy. It's called Big Dicks Outdoors. And it's
I love
yeah, it's a parody. It's really funny because as an adult, it's a show you can actually watch with your children. I wanted something that brought back, the good fun shows that you used to be able to watch with your mom and dad, like Leave It to Beaver
Yeah.
and My Three Sons and The Waltons and Cheers even and Taxi, all those fun shows that you could watch as a family. And this one, it leaves everything up to the imagination, and an adult watching it is going to go straight to the gutter. And then at the
Yeah.
end, it's on them how they've been duped. So it's going to be a really fun show. I've already got Jonathan Banks attached to it. You might remember him from, Better Call Saul and many others. And then Perry Reeves from Entourage. So it's a hunting and
Cool.
fishing show that takes place up in Minnesota, and it's going to be fun. It's a lot of fun. So I hopefully that'll make it up and running in the next few years here, and 10 years from now it'll still be going.
That sounds great. Will you film on location in Minnesota or will you
Yes,
do it in California?
definitely. No, film on location in Minnesota.
I hope you do that in the summer.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because the opening show is during ice fishing season actually. So It'll shoot late ice season fishing through summer.
Oh my gosh. Well, that sounds great. I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
More continued success. Congratulations on your health journey. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to being on again sometime in the future.
I love it.
All right. You take care.